you ate something poisonous. Choices had to be made here on Donner Pass. And she said, "You've gone around the bend, girl. Please don't eat human flesh. It's bad for digestion." Fine. And then we went to this crazy... Yeah. We're driving down the road, and I'm hungry. And it is in barren territory. Because literally, we're going up over the grapevine. And it is... Or at least, maybe this was right before the grapevine. But there's really limited places to stop and eat and get gas. Other than gas stations. I don't want to eat at a gas station. I'm already risking my life.
Right.
And we went to this place. It was like this Wild West barbecue with all these outbuildings that look like old churches. It looked like we were in Little House on the Prairie.
They're kind of cool. They're all like, they look like just handmade buildings and shit. It's really cute.
So I sent her pictures of all these buildings. Like a little church, a little school.
Got the kids enrolled.
Father bought a used cow to replace the stolen ones. All this nonsense. And I love you went, "Well, Ma, it looks like you the fancy kind of white people moving on up." Yeah. But we had, once we got there, I mean, I practically got out of the car and kissed the ground once we were in Anaheim.
I'm sure.
But the only thing that was kind of looming over my mind the entire time is, on Monday we have to do it all again. Get back in the car. So, I mean, we were there for a full week. The next day we went to San Diego to visit family, and San Diego was lovely. And then went to Universal Studios. I'm going to talk about Universal Studios in just a moment, but before I do, I'm going to take a little break.
Bye.
So Universal Studios, now I knew before I went that Universal Studios was going to have a lot of rides that I was going to be unable to do being a fat girl. Because they are what? Fat phobic. Now, at least, and I'm not giving them a whole lot of credit for this, they do have tester seats out in front of the rides where you can park your fat ass and see if you can fit on the ride. Okay. However, there's usually a crowd watching you test to see if you will or will not fit, and that's humiliating, especially if you don't. I mean, if you fit, it's fine, it's great, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
But you probably wouldn't be testing the seat if you thought you were going to fit. And so, the rides in the whole Harry Potter part of the park were a pass for me. Because they're, again, made for much smaller people than myself.
That's irritating.
The only thing, I was able to do the Jurassic Park ride.
Was that fun?
It was fun.
Okay.
Dinosaurs,
It's like
whatnot.
Tradish, right? It's like the old one.
Yeah. You're just on a little boat. It's a flume ride.
Yeah. And
I was able to do the studio tour, so that's nice.
Okay.
Because that's just on a tram.
Yeah.
The studio tour was actually very fun. Because you get to see all kinds of things. And you get to see things that you've seen in the movies and the TV. Because they do actually, Universal Studios, there's a theme park, they do film there.
Yeah.
And so, like, when they took us to this one part, they're like, and you may recognize this from The Good Place. And it is literally what The Good Place was supposed to be with all the little stores and whatever. They weren't changed at all, except there were signs in front of them saying whatever that they were.
Yeah.
And so I was like, of course I recognize this. Because I've watched the entire season 3 times. Or a series 3 times. Because I'm a psycho. But
no, it's pretty normal. You're just a millennial at this point.
Yeah. Anyway, but Universal, the kids had fun, we had fun, blah, blah, blah. Got to, my son got to buy a wand and do spells in Hogwarts.
I think that it looks authentic. That's what I thought looked really nice. Because, I like things to look real. So, like, it's off topic, but similar, is like for Halloween, if someone's going to portray a character or something, I want it to look like that character. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I don't want, unless you're like inspired by it, different. But if you're going to look like it, then look like it. Like when I was Morticia Addams girl, I painted that face multiple times before Halloween, so I could get, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I knew what to do, and I made parts of my outfit and bought things and waited all, you know what I mean? Like took a year to do it, and like it's like cosplay to me. Cosplay is like elevated Halloween, right?
Yeah.
Like, be authentic, and that's cool to me if it looks real,
What's funny to me, about being authentic, when we were in Disneyland, they have that whole new Star Wars theme portion of the park.
Yeah.
And we were looking for gifts, and I saw someone in the park wearing a Jar Jar Binks t-shirt.
Oh my god.
And I was like, we have to see if we can find one of those for Annika, because she loves Jar Jar
I
Binks.
do. Listen, I know that you just said that casually and like off the cuff, but I want you to know that I might get hate mail strictly for liking Jar Jar Binks.
I know.
He is one of the least liked characters in all of Star Wars. But
You're gonna get hate mail for saying Star whatever.
Star whatever. Okay, I'm a Trekkie.
Oh my god,
I'm more into
Star
Trek.
whatever.
Anyway, but yeah, Jar Jar Binks, and like Baby Yoda and the Ewoks are the only things I give a shit about in Star Wars. Anyway,
well, so what's funny is I went up to one of the castmates or
Mm-hmm.
cast members, and I said, "Hey, I've been through a couple of your little stores here, and I can't seem to find. I saw this T-shirt, blah blah blah, Jar Jar Binks," and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. We don't know who Jar Jar Binks is here because that has happened in the future." And she's like, "So you will have to probably look elsewhere where he has already existed because he hasn't existed here yet."
How very cute.
And I was like,
authentic.
I'm not all about these multiverse, multi-timeline kind of thing.
Girl.
And I know, I'm going to share with you my
That's so
Star Wars
cute.
knowledge.
Oh my god. Your cannolis.
Because I am, now 60, had my birthday in Disneyland.
Oh my god, she's old.
She's old. I saw the first 3 releases, and I know those were numbers 4, 5, and 6, so don't come for me.
Yeah, bitch.
I know how the numbers work.
Look, nerds.
Yeah, calm down.
Yeah.
So I saw 4, 5, and 6 when they came out in 1912, 1915, and 1918, or whatever it was.
After the Great Earthquake.
Right. Once film was created. Anyway, I saw the first 3, and they were fine.
Yeah.
They were fine.
Mm-hmm.
They were kind of cheesy, and this is where I'm going to get hate mail. They were kind of cheesy. I mean, it was the time, though. Their special effects were very limited.
You're going to hate what I have to say then, but continue.
The Ewoks looked like little, furry puppets that should have been on the Muppet Show.
Yeah.
And they were
So
ridiculous and adorable.
Oh, right.
And I'm sorry, but Jabba the Hutt was just a big rubber pile of shit.
Ew, yeah, honestly.
I'm sorry, but that's what he looked like, giant rubber
Has your dog ever
turd.
been sick? It's Jabba the Hutt coming out of him. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Just like gross and slimy and icky poo. I hate it.
So when I get there to this whole land that I was walking around going, well, it looks like you're in one of the places that they go to.
It's cool.
And I was like, okay,
cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's fun. But I don't know enough to say, oh, wait, this is right, or this is wrong, or this is the other thing.
But who cares about that?
But here's what I'm going to say about the Star Wars geeks.
What?
Nerds, whatever you want to call them. We happened to hit it on May 4th.
Oh, no.
Didn't even think about it.
Oh,
Didn't even think about the whole May the 4th be with you. Ugh.
Yeah.
Well, so we're walking through, and there's this
not.
line coming out of this little doorway, going down these steps and around the building. And I said to cast member, and I said, excuse me, what is this line for? Assuming it's one of the new good rides, right?
Sure.
And she goes, oh, it's to go to this store. And she said the name of it, and it was the name of some character, and I don't know.
Okay.
And I said,
why?
wait, what? I said, this line is to get into a store? And she said, yeah.
Dad.
And I was like,
stupid old lady.
Why?
Uh-huh.
Well, because they want to get in there because it's May 4th. And I go,
What's that? Okay.
and it didn't occur to me until I saw 27,000 people wearing T-shirts that said "May the 4th be with you," and I was like, "Oh God!" So they're trying to get into this store on May 4th, so they can create, because it was the place where you. They had cool stuff in there. When I finally got in days later,
Yeah.
because I wasn't going in to stand in a line to get in a store.
Ew, especially...
No. But I was like, it was cool, but they wanted their May 4th gear.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. You could have done like I did and bought my Disney gear on Amazon. So
Yeah, bitch, call it cute.
call it cute. Save the money. Buy it on Amazon.
Yeah.
It's all cute.
My story about nerds, well, there's a lot of them, but when I lived in San Francisco, 2008 or 2009 is when the new Trek movie came out. You know what I'm talking about? Where it was like the alternate universe that had Chris Pine.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So I saw that like opening night with my nerd friends because I was in an art college and nerd. And but I was not like a Trekkie or a Star Warsy or any of that because my nerd was very hidden at that point. We went to go see it, and of course we're watching Star Trek, and I kept saying, "Is C-3PO in this one? Where's Chewie?" And literally everyone online who's dressed like, you know, the original series Kirk was all like, "That is wrong. This is Star Trek." But they were mad, and I was just like, giggle, giggle, giggle. Like, thought it was the greatest thing ever to just torment these nerds in line about their love. And
where is Princess Leia?
Exactly. Just like, and all the whole time, they were real angry at me. What I was going to say that you probably wouldn't like is that I've seen a lot of videos and charts comparing Star Wars to Harry Potter, and how it's like a young orphaned boy who has to go live with his aunt and uncle, who learns that he is a part of, you know, like can use some magic, some ancient magic, and it goes on and on and on. But like, it's very funny to me because when I heard a comedian talk about it, I was like, oh my god, Harry Potter and Star Wars, especially like Luke Skywalker era, is Harry Potter.
Well, there you go.
I know. So that ruined everything for me. No, I'm just kidding. But Harry Potter to me has faded quite a bit. You know?
Yeah.
But
thanks to the turf bitch who wrote it. Listen, so I know we were talking about Star Wars, but my Star Trek story is this. I was a child when Star Trek was on television originally.
The OG.
Yeah, the OG. With their Christmas lights pushed through cardboard to make the light up boards and
so
stuff.
Cool.
It worked. I'm sorry, it worked. And there were little phaser beams and nonsense. Anyway, and with the cast member who was going down to the planet in the different colored t-shirts, like, oh,
the one wearing the red shirt.
You're gonna die.
The red shirt always died.
Always died. But I never cared about it. My brothers loved it. They watched it incessantly. And then it never really went off the air. It ran forever. And it was only 3 seasons, and they watched it over and over and over. Well, so when the second movie came out, Wrath of Khan, best movie,
best one. I saw that
series.
In the Hollywood Theater in Portland, on the original like MGM film. It was great. Anyway.
It's fantastic. Well, so I was going on a blind date. Blind date says, "Hey, I want to go to the movies," and I was like, "Sure, I love going to the movies." And he's like, "Well, let's go see the new Star Trek movie," and I was all in my brain going, "Yo, Star Trek!" But in my outside voice, because I was 19, I was like, "Yes, I'd love to, please." Oh my god, I loved it. I loved it. I mean, it creeped me out when the big earwig bug was put in his ear, and I was freaking out. But it was so good. And then I ended up watching all of the movies of the first cast.
Okay.
Not all good.
No.
The first one is the worst. But whatever. And then when the Star Wars, when the second 3 episodes 1, 2, and 3 came out, I watched them and I was like, this is dumb. And I know people are going to be like, oh, how can I'm sorry, but I didn't like them. This is dumb.
I love that.
Now, I love Natalie Portman.
Sure.
I will say, I love her. She was great. There were some good things about it. I, unlike you, did not like Jar Jar Binks.
I know, most people didn't.
Because he was like, step and fetch it with rabbit ears.
That actor got so much hate because of his portrayal of Jar Jar Binks. Like, so much.
Like, he wrote it. Right. I mean, come on.
Like, it was his fault, right? Like, but he got death threats. The people told him to go unalive himself often. Because he portrayed Jar Jar Binks, which is so stupid to me. And I know he was stupid, but as a child, he was fun and silly, and I didn't know, right? He was just like a goofy alien that I loved. The worst part, though, was that he lived underwater. And girl, if you know me, and that scene,
I didn't remember that he lived underwater.
It's seared into my memory because they go to his homeland, which is underwater in like a bubble dome, and at some point they have to leave.
Right.
And they're
I did see that in the new ride.
Underwater spaceship, and giant fucking sea monsters chase them, like a giant one, and then a bigger one, and a bigger one steps out, and like it's. I remember seeing it in theater and being the most horrified I think I've ever been because we're underwater and there's giant monsters on screen. But I get panicky over, like Finding Nemo. So if there's monsters in the water, I'm out.
I do understand that.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I forgot to shut my phone off. Sorry,
God.
people. I wasn't watching Harry Potter.
We do not own the rights to that
Well, we were
song.
supposed to be working. I was not watching Harry Potter, I promise.
Working? Is that what you call
working?
it?
Well,
Girl,
my nerves.
Do you know what I look
working
like?
my nerves.
Listen.
I look cute. I just did my hair.
Your hair looks great.
Thanks. We're going to take a break.
Let's do. Pat Holiday.